This was RTF 1, the first real Taekwondo fight night, and it almost didn't happen. We had no venue, no fighters, no money, just a dream and 14 months to make it real. This is the story of how we created the first real Taekwondo fight night. How through blood, sweat and tears we actually made a difference for our sport. We had a clear vision from the start. Harder fights, a real stage with lights, music, camera teams, an announcer shouting the names of fighters. But it was easily the hardest task of my life. So, with our vision in mind, how do you even begin such a giant task? The first thing that popped into my mind was, I need fighters. People that share my passion for the sport and see my vision as something worth chasing, my dream as something worth fighting for. First, I needed to be more precise. Yes, I want a cinematic Taekwondo fight show, but what does that mean? How exactly does it look like? If I was going to do this, I was going to try to make everything as good as possible. I needed to create fights that are more enjoyable to watch for a general audience. After all, my goal is to spread the sport to as many new people as possible. But I love traditional Taekwondo. I didn't want to change it. I wanted to elevate it to the next level. The two biggest issues I saw were fighters fencing instead of fighting and the constant breaks that frankly ruin the fight flow in modern Taekwondo fights. The good thing was I didn't need to change any of the basics in order to fix it. We could keep everything that makes Taekwondo Taekwondo, from wearing the traditional hogu plus headgear to pretty much keeping all of the rules. Surprisingly, fixing the fights was actually quite simple. I took a look at how successful fighting sports are doing it. Score fights mainly by which fighter is fighting more efficiently, rather than only by who hits more often. This automatically removes the fencing issue and brings it back to two people having a fight. We simply gave way to how hard attacks are. Light kicks, even to the head, simply don't score at RTF. Hard attacks give more points than medium attacks. That's it. Instantly you have people trying to hit each other hard again. Then, as I said, I wanted to fix the fight flow. I also fixed that by taking a look at how boxing deals with minus points. Currently in Olympic Taekwondo, you see breaks that last multiple minutes in almost every single fight due to the minus points system. So I completely removed the minus point / gamjong system. Let the people fight while the judges score. And if you ask the fighters, this is what made the biggest difference. So, we had a system that works, but nobody knows about it, and we still don't have a single person following our dream. How do we change that? Social media. I spent the next months creating a plan. How do I create a movement that people want to follow? How do I show them what we want to do if we haven't done it yet? This is where my 6-year-long YouTube career got into play. But first, I started by setting up a website to show that we can create stuff that looks professional first. My hair turned even grayer through this process, but the result was fine. Next, as I said, we needed social media channels, and we started with YouTube and Instagram. This was the first time something completely unreal and magical happened. I posted my very first reel. It only got 100 views at the time, but somehow the 2-time world champ, 1-time African champ and 1-time European champ, Saint Firmin Zoku, saw the reel and he said he's in. I have no words to describe how much this turned out to help us. But my first reaction was partying with Kira, because not only does someone like our vision so much, he wants to travel from a different country to our fight night event, it's the goddamn 2-time world champion. This gave our mission so much more credibility and gave us so much momentum. Many times when I tried to recruit people for RTF 1, I would get weird looks at first, people rightfully questioning if I, this random guy they never met before, could manage to pull off this giant task. But when I told them the 2-time world champ is fighting, you could see their whole expression shift. I instantly went from this random guy talking about his seemingly unachievable dream to the guy from RTF that's bringing the world champ to Germany for the first real Taekwondo fight night. You could see and feel a difference right away. And just for that alone, Firmin, I cannot thank you enough. You helped me build the momentum that made all of this possible. Recruiting fighters turned out to be one of the hardest of all tasks, but thanks to Furman, I had hope. I've done it once after all, so it's possible. Kira, my wife, and I came up with 3 different strategies. First, social media. Second, contacting Taekwondo clubs. And third, go to every Taekwondo tournament in Germany and annoy people so long until they accept my invite. Then we had a brilliant idea to combine all of that, and this is when we started seeing real success. First, we traveled to Paris to meet Furman. After a long training and sparring session, not only did Furman become an even better friend to me, we also met Hamara Conte, who turned out to be our second fighter for RTF 1. But it went further. The video we recorded, the first one ever on my channel, got 23,000 views. Anyone that ever tried YouTube knows how incredibly hard and unthinkable that is for a first video. And suddenly I started getting the first hits on my contact formula for fighters. We successfully had a system that got fighters interested in joining. Then we did the same to tournaments. We went there, recorded fights, people started paying attention to us. "Oh, are you the guys from RTF?" became a common thing to hear, sometimes from 20 to 30 different people at a single tournament. RTF was making waves. We just had to keep working hard, but finally things started to work out and look easier. Or so we thought. The issue was finding the first half of the fighters was easy. We met some incredibly passionate fighters like Luan Hisseni, Michael Kraus and Isabel Giefer, but finding a fitting opponent turned out to be way harder. Now we couldn't blindly accept everyone we enjoyed watching. We needed to find people in specific weight classes that are willing to fight specific fighters. I think I almost turned into an insane person over this. People would accept to fight, then argue about weight, then come up with incredible reasons to not fight. Some had a real reason, some obviously made things up, but the result was the same. I couldn't seem to finish the fight card, but this hardship turned out to be the biggest strength of RTF. The thing is, we all went through this together. My fighters noticed how much work it took to pull this thing off. They searched their opponents together with me, and going through this, training together, laughing together, turned us into real friends. And suddenly it wasn't just my wife, Furman and me working on RTF. Suddenly I had 10 more people working hard to make RTF 1 work out. And this was the turning point. While this task, creating a Taekwondo fight league from nothing, really was impossible for just 2 people, or rather 1.5, since my wife was and is still working a full-time job and could only help on weekends, we got much bigger. From friends from my Taekwondo club joining, becoming the showmaster, judges, and help us behind the scenes on the event, to my fighters giving me contact after contact, to even the official state Taekwondo association, the NWTU, helping us out. We got introduced to referees that jumped right in to help us achieve our vision, to fighters bringing fighters, to fighters selling tickets, to their clubs, and every possible aspect you can think of. Everything just started to click. We got our first sponsors. My barber Pico, German operator designing and donating shirts and hoodies for my team. The tattoo store Skin Factory advertising for us. Sportfabrik creating a whole giveaway in their gym, which they put a lot of effort in. My friend and Dr. Maurice from Sportsclinic Cologne. RTF 1 was really going to happen. There was just one more issue. How do I even make a first-class show that I promised everyone that I would deliver? Saving you all the legal trouble we went through to start a company and deal with all the bureaucracy, taxes and authorities, which would easily be a video and a half on its own, let's talk about the fun existential problem instead. I had no idea how to make a great show. This was also the main reason we struggled to find any big sponsors, by the way. We had never hosted an event before. We had no experience in getting a crowd excited. Yes, we had a fight system that I was very confident in, but that is not nearly enough to make an unforgettable fight night that will make people spend enough money so that we don't go bankrupt right away. So, Kira and I traveled the country again and again, going from fight night to fight night, with 2 by now big books of notes we took. When do we want the light on the stage? Where and when should fighters come out? What music do we play? How do we get the license to even play music? In what order do we want our fights? What food should we serve? Do we hire a DJ? Let friends do that? What about walk-in music? What if we have a knockout? Do we have a longer break? Or do we make the next fight start earlier? What if the fighter isn't ready? What if a fighter doesn't show up? What if multiple fighters don't show up? Honestly, we saw a million ways this could all go sideways, but we were way too deep into this to walk back from it. We promised we would do it, and there was nothing in this world that was going to stop us. We went to many business and startup events in Cologne, read many books on event managing, and this all helped so much to come up with the final concept we ended on. We found an arena we really liked after going to yet another fight, Muay Thai Rising in the Brückenforum in Bonn, and right away we thought, yes, this is it. And after a tremendous amount of work with the Brückenforum team, we finally had a step-by-step plan for the event. Cool. Everything was set, but now we still face the biggest of all issues. We barely sold any tickets so far. We were at roughly 20 only at this point, and time was running low. Only a month and a half before the event, we barely sold any tickets. We did the math. We needed to sell 200 to not go bankrupt, 500 to not lose money, a dream that was completely out of reach. We were fighting for the existence of RTF here. 200 tickets was the number we were dreaming of. Lots and lots of advertising, running through Bonn and Cologne, handing out flyers, putting up posters, making challenges on the streets, fighters doing the same and trying to get friends and family to buy tickets, paying the city of Bonn a big amount of money for an official poster campaign, setting up 4 different ad campaigns on Instagram and TikTok. We tried everything. And suddenly the ticket sales started growing. Within a few days we went from 20 to 50, from 50 to 100, from 100 to 150. A big improvement and already a cool crowd to fight in front of, but it was not enough for RTF to survive. We needed a couple more to be able to, combined with the private money we put into the company, simply survive. Through all of this on the outside, I tried to play calm and confident. I had sleepless nights thinking of ways to make this work, but to be honest, I already did all I could think of. So I just trusted that what we already did, what we could, and had faith it would still work out. And so at the day of the event, we had 237 tickets sold, not nearly enough to make money for ourselves. But even after 14 months of very hard work on this project, that didn't matter to me even a tiny bit. I was so excited to hear that we will be able to survive and have another go at RTF2 afterwards. Now it was time to deliver the best show the Taekwondo community has ever seen. I had so much energy in me. I just wanted to jump on stage and get the show running. This is the story of RTF. In the following days and weeks, I will post each fight fully combined with a story around it. How we met the fighters, how they trained, and everything you can imagine. These 16 fighters all became very good personal friends to me, and I will try my best to really introduce them to you one by one, so that they are not just fighter number 1 and fighter number 2, but so that you can see the person under the headgear and celebrate them for who and what they are. Real Taekwondo fighters.
Come on, let's fight. Oh, come on.
Man nimmt den auf, das Content, super Content.
Ich hab so Bock. Ich habe den ganzen 6 Monate habe ich darauf gewartet, dass ich hier stehe. Danke an Kira und an Marlon, dass wir jetzt hier stehen dürfen. Es wird eine absolute geisteskranke Show. Vertraut mir. Jimmy!
Woo! That spinning back kick.